Hey guys, welcome. This tutorial is all about Cobra pose. Cobra pose is a gentle heart opener. It is a back bend and it makes an appearance in vinyasas, sun salutations. You can often take Cobra pose instead of upward facing dog. And it is just a very nice chest opener, heart opener, but also a back strengthener. You won't need any props for this tutorial, just your yoga mat. So go ahead, unroll your mat, and let's get started. So Cobra pose happens on the belly. So let's go ahead and find our way there. So for this tutorial, I'll be covering Cobra pose and baby Cobra, which is slightly different. So go ahead and come onto your belly. You want the tops of the feet pressing flat onto the earth. You do want the feet to be together. And you're going to press actively down into the feet. So I don't know if you can see that my knees start to lift off the mat here. So right now my legs are completely relaxed and now I'm pressing the tops of my feet down into the earth. So you should feel the quadriceps start to activate. You should feel the knees lift off the mat a little bit. So you want the legs to be active. The hands come just underneath the shoulders. So right next to the chest, right underneath where the shoulders are. So we're going to start with baby Cobra. So baby Cobra, go ahead and lift the shoulders up by the ears and then roll them back and down. So already you should feel this opening in the chest. Continue that by pulling the shoulder blades back towards each other so much that you lift the chest a little bit more. The gaze is slightly forward. You're not trying to lift the gaze too high so we don't crunch the neck. Just slightly forward towards the front edge of your mat. The elbows pull back towards your torso. And for baby Cobra, the hands will press into the earth very gently. So for baby Cobra, you could even lift the hands up off the earth. There's very little pressing down into the hands. There's little weight. But the idea is kind of like you're trying to pull the chest through the hands. So similar to a Sphinx pose. And this is your baby Cobra. You should feel the entire back body active. So the muscles in the back are very much working here. Go ahead and release that down. Bring one cheek down. You can shake the hips out side to side. Let that go. It's a lot of work on the back, particularly in the lower back. It's where we tend to feel any back bend the most. So always good to neutralize after a back bend. All right, let's set it up for Cobra pose. So the legs, the feet are exactly the same for Cobra pose as baby Cobra. The only difference between baby Cobra and Cobra pose is that for Cobra, you are pressing more firmly into the hands and you're lifting the chest up a little bit higher. So everything else is the same. Go ahead, lift the shoulders up by the ears and then roll them back and down. Elbows pull back towards the torso. And then from here, you're gonna press down into the hands as you lift the torso. So the elbows stay bent. And again, it's like you're trying to pull the chest forward and up. So you wanna maintain length in the spine. Legs remain strong. And again, you don't wanna lift the head because that'll crunch into the neck. You wanna maintain a nice long neck so the gaze can stay straight forward. And then release. You can bring a cheek onto the mat, maybe the forehead down on the hands, and shake the hips out side to side. So one more time, coming into baby Cobra and then right into Cobra pose. So we start with baby Cobra. Again, hands right under shoulders. Pulling the shoulder blades back and down, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat, pulling the shoulder blades back towards each other so much that the chest lifts. Gaze as gently towards the front edge of your mat, right here in your baby cobra. So in your baby cobra, you can maybe lift the hands up off the earth. Now coming into cobra, go ahead and press down into the hands. The elbows continue to pull back as you lift the chest. So what happens a lot is I see the shoulders up here by the ears. You want to make sure that you're pulling the shoulder blades down the back, making space in the neck, finding that openness in the chest. The elbows pull back towards the torso. And again, it's like you're trying to pull forward and up. And go ahead, release. Shake the hips out, let that go. Go ahead and bend the knees, and then windshield wiper the legs over to one side and then the other. Always want to make sure that you neutralize the spine after a back bend. And then we'll come into the counter pose for a back bend, which is really any forward fold. So anytime you are back bending, you want to make sure that you neutralize, which is what we're doing right now. And then come into a counter pose. So to counter these back bends, we're going to come into a child's pose. Go ahead, lift the torso, bringing seat to feet, forehead to the earth. Sending the breath into the back body, finding expansion. And then you can go ahead and lift the torso, letting all of that go. So that is your cobra pose and your baby cobra. You can always take baby cobra or cobra anytime you hear upward facing dog offered in a class or in any of these videos. Upward facing dog is a deeper back bend. We'll get into that one in a future tutorial, but it is a deeper back bend, so if you don't feel ready for it or like you just don't feel like it, always feel free to take baby cobra or cobra pose instead. If you have any questions about this pose, please feel free to drop them in the comments down below. Thank you for joining me for this cobra pose tutorial today. Have an awesome rest of your day. Namaste.